Are we live?
We are live. We are live.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Vishnu Bharadwaj. I've been working with Courage as the chair for the current term, and I'm also vice president of capacity building. I'm elected for that position for the next term. And I'm going to be talking about how to be part of SIMSA. So I'm going to be covering certain application strategies that could get you into SIMSA and that would give you an edge over other people. And this is going to be a video guide for you on how to apply with maximum efficacy with your application. That's what I'm going to be dealing through in this particular presentation. So most of you are familiar with SIMSA. I would, however, start by taking you through the SIMSA structure. And as all of you might know, so we have a Council of Ethical and Judicial Affairs at the highest part of SIMSA. And this will be dealing with a lot of we should be dealing with conflict resolution and any of the ethical issues and any of the conundrum which organization faces. It'll have the highest say of it. So, and next comes president and the advisory board. Advisory board is to be set up yet for this particular term. However, president is elected and GB is elected, and all the TO positions, team of official positions and governing body positions are elected and ready to go. So we have president, and under the president there'll be two assists, and then there's going to be GB positions in which there's going to be VPE, vice president external matters, and vice president internal matters, and there's going to be vice president capacity building, that's going to be me, and vice president finances. So, and next part of the structure will be a team of officials in which there are council chairs, state directors, DPRC, IT, and logistics. And there'll be vice chairs for the council. Vice chair is also a TO position. All these positions are filled. So governing body and TO positions are filled in SIMSA. Now, this particular time, we have support team calls open, and each of you can send in a maximum of 3 applications. And there are going to be 8 general assists for SIMSA, and this is the first time we are opening general assist positions. More details of that will be shared to you soon, either on your emails or look out for on our Instagram handle for more details on that. Calls are open. You can be texting, you can be talking about that, and application form is available on Instagram. Also, we have activity councils, and there are 4 activity councils: Council of Public Health, Council of Medical Education, Council of Reproductive, Sexual Health and Gender Education, Council of Rights and Peace. So we have 4 activity councils, and every activity council have a structure of 10 members in the council and 2 PRC representatives. So PRC representative is public relation and communication representative in the council. They will be majorly handling all the graphic and design work that will be involved in the organization. And so next comes the auxiliary councils. In auxiliary councils, we're going to have 7 positions plus 1 PRC representative. There are 22 deputy director positions open according to each state. More details you'll be finding in the official document for the official document for support teams that have been sent already on the Instagram. It's been sent already on email, and it will be available to you. If in case you did not receive it, just text us on Instagram and we'll make sure one of us will be sending you that thing. So these are a couple of vacant positions in SIMSA right now, and this is where you can consider applying. So before I talk about this, give me a minute. I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to take about 30 seconds break. Yes, sorry for the interruption, guys. I had a small situation here. And coming back to the presentation, Bhajan, let me confirm, am I visible?
Yes, Vishnu, you are.
All right. All right. So, all right. So, in the SIMSA application process, we're going to be starting by first, if you're trying to apply for SIMSA, check out for the membership and the eligibility criteria. Without this, you cannot be a part of SIMSA. Membership fees is really low. It is just 200 rupees. It's less than what you could get a biryani for. So you can definitely be part of SIMSA. And to be a member and the eligibility criteria, you need to be registered in a medical college. The more details of the eligibility criteria are mentioned again in the document that has been circulated. If you did not receive it, text us on any of the platforms, either on WhatsApp or send us an email or write to us on Instagram. We'll make sure you get the document. And then it's going to be a Google form. This is going to be a link. And with the Google form, you will need to be submitting your CV, motivation letter, and a plan of action. And then there will be a followed by specific screening that will be done by the team of officials for the position they are hiring. Or if it's a general assist position, a GB member will be doing a specific screening for that position. So this is going to be an application process. Please make sure by the time you're filling the Google form, you have these 3 documents ready with you. And now I'm going to be further talking about how to draft these documents in highest efficacy so that you can make an impact on the interviewer whenever you're facing the interview or the selector in this case. So before you start your application process, take a minute and assess yourself. Understand what is the skill you have and what is the motivation you have. This is purely for your internal analysis. This is going to give you a lot of insight upon what you can do and what you want to do. So that is where the skill and motivation comes in. It's okay. The idea is not limited here. You can expand either your skill, or if you're motivated, if your skill is in one particular area like public health, and if you are motivated to work in reproductive health, that is okay. The application process will help you get into the best position which you want to be there. But before you start application, hold back, sit and think a minute, which is the best. Think a minute about what your skill is and what you want to apply. Next, how do you choose a position? First and most important thing is what you are interested in. Make sure this is based upon your skill or motivation. I wouldn't say one of the factors, but make sure, I wouldn't say 2 of these, but make sure at least one of these is in accordance with it. So do not just come and tell in the application that I'm interested in this position. Please be passionate about it, because that's going to have a very good edge in the competition. Because in the first year of SIMSA itself, we have received about 40-50 applications for 10 positions. And this time it's going to be much more. And unless you have an impactful resume, it's an impactful approach, it's not going to be easy for you to be a part of SIMSA. So hold back, understand first what is your interest and what is your skill. Next, check if this will be helping you in your future plans, in your career plans. There are multiple ways it can help you to get into foreign universities. If you're writing USMLE or PLAB, this will be a wonderful addition on your resumes. Or if you want to do completely something else, completely difficult, like hospital management or a master's in public health, this can still be a part of your resume. So understand how this can align with your future plans and goals, because without which you wouldn't feel motivated. Next comes the most important part, and many people fail because they don't do this right. That is the background research. So if you are applying for any specific role, research into it. Go to our Instagram page and look at all the activities done, or go to our website and look at the specific description of the council. Read the document that is being supplied. Again, I'm repeating this multiple times because we don't want people to miss out. If you do not have the document, if you haven't got it onto the emails, please text us on any of our public platforms. We will make sure you receive it. And read the document very carefully, understand what our requirements are, and understand if you fit into that requirement. because this is going to simplify a lot of process. Do a thorough background research. If you are applying for specifically for activity councils, which is where there's going to be some good competition. If you're going to apply for these positions, make sure you know the work of this council. At least you understand the scope of work of this council, because according to which the next part of resume is going to be dependent upon. And as I said, read our document of support teams. If you do not have it, ask us. We're going to make sure that is supplied to you. So now I'm going to talk about how to draft your CV. So obviously be a show off, because this is where you have to show off. Unless you do, we'll not know what your skills are. So take a minute and again, you spend some time on design of CV. Other two documents, I wouldn't specifically say design, but on a CV, if you have a unique design, it has an impact. Last time I've done a good number of recruitments, and I have good experience in recruiting for student organizations. And every single time I observe a unique CV, which is very classified and organized and also has a picture on it, is going to register your skill to me better. It's presented better. It's going to register in my mind better. So initially, how we do the process is we're going to do a CV screening initially. We're going to sit and read all the CVs, motivation letters, and plans for actions that has been sent out, and then we'll be calling you out for an interview. So we will have your CV with us on the interview, but making an initial impression can have a lot of good effect. By looking at your CV, we understand if you make it to the cut, if you make it to the requirement or not, at most of the times. So, and especially registering your personal identity. Again, this is not mandatory, but if you add your picture onto the CV, and which will make it obviously unique for yourself, and you use Canva-like platforms or download templates from Word. Do not send in plain documents. It's again, this is not mandatory, but this is going to make your CV very effective on the reader. When we look at the CV, it's going to give a very good initial impression, and it's going to present. If it's presenting everything in a classified and organized manner, it's going to make my job very, very easy in recruiting you. So draft according to the job description. And as I said, you can apply for a maximum of 3 positions. We have mentioned it very clearly. So yes, so draft according to the job description. I would recommend you can have a single CV. Basic structure is going to be same. So let us say you're applying for public health and you have public health experience somewhere. You place it on the top of it, because it's the moment I'm going to read, I'm going to know that you're really motivated in this because you've already done something in this previously. So, and mention all your accomplishments. Again, preferably mention your accomplishments from the medical college level. If it is in your school level or your in your +2 level, keep it in a brief. Like, it will obviously convey that you have been motivated and you've been consistent with this from your school. So do not draft in a very detail of all your school level achievements. Let us say you won about 10 quiz competitions in your school. I wouldn't need information of name of each quiz competition, theme of each quiz competition, but you can just mention I'm a winner of 10 quiz competitions in my school. And you can have a specific classified segment that says achievements, accomplishments until the school level. So, and the most relevant part towards us is going to be what you have done since you got into medical college. So again, most important part of this thing is going to be do not mention irrelevant things, specifically like your home address or like some people have mentioned their parents' job descriptions. Some people have mentioned their personal preferences, their food choices. There was a couple of weird applications we've got. They are not relevant for me to the work. If we are recruiting, make sure it's going to project your skill and why you should be in SIMSA in the best possible way. And think, if you want to mention your address, hold on and think, because I'm definitely not gonna feel like this address is going to be recruitment criteria for anyone in SIMSA. So mention only the relevant details. Do not waste space anywhere, and project yourself in a way that we understand your skill. So I'm going to be showing you an example of a good CV. So this is a CV by Chetna Rajesh, and she's a final year student from Sri Ramchandra, and she's also the current Courage Chair elect. So the reason I would say this is a good CV is it has a very simplistic design. Its colors are first not hitting your eye. It's not like, repulse you to the vision. Next important thing, she has added a photo. She have mentioned her international experiences in a specific column, which would be very relevant for someone reading it for the position she have applied. And this has been sent out for the position of Chair of Council of Sexual Reproductive Health and Gender Education. So she mentioned her international experience right here. So you know that this person have attended at least 5 of the international sessions, and that too in college level is a good accomplishment. Then she's been part of a specific unit in a specific organization, and her work in SIMSA has been mentioned in a very clear detail. And then her work in Rotaract Club has been mentioned here in this CV. So she also provided her contact details, and she chose to put it on the next page. Again, this would be your choice if you want to put it on the front page. So one drawback in this CV is that her experience, she has won an award here, and award she chose to mention it at the end. If you have any such specific accomplishments, you should start by mentioning those things. Then you can go ahead with the specific things. So this is how you project the focus upon your skills. And next, she obviously has, she spoke about the skills she has, she spoke about the trainings she attended to accomplish these things in the organization, and the conferences she've attended and the trainings she've undergone, which makes her capable to do these works. So this gives a very realistic coordination. So I'm going to see, initially I'm going to wonder if I see that, it's a very, very good CV and something extraordinary has been mentioned in the CV. I'm going to think how a normal medical student from an Indian medical college has got until here. So if you mention the trainings that you've taken, it would give a very clear idea for me. Okay, so this person have went in, have learned these skills, and then have also executed this. So this person might be well suited for my job. So I would call this a very good CV. And going ahead. So how to draft an effective motivation letter? So again, there is no standard format, or there's no tip for you to draft an effective motivation letter. So sit down, introspect why you want this position. Tell us specifically what motivates you for this position. Be very specific. They're going to be just 2 tips from my side that's going to help you draft a very, very, very effective motivation letter. So the second thing is going to be specificity. So tell us something that happened in your life or that happened in your college that is the reason why you're applying for the specific position. There needs to be 2 specific ends, why you are doing this and why it is specific to what you're doing. I think this is going to give a very clear insight into your idea. Next, make sure it is in accordance with your CV. So this is going to be very, very, very important, because you tell me that you've been extremely motivated towards working with reproductive health, and you're a final year student. For the first time, you're applying for a position in a council, and you have 0 experience in reproductive health. I'm going to think, as a recruiter, I'm going to think, if this person is really motivated, what has this person done until the 4th year of the college in this specific field? So it needs to be in accordance with your CV. If you do not have that kind of skill anywhere in the CV, think twice before mentioning in your motivation letter. And your questions, if we are going for if the recruitment strategy is based on interview, they're going to ask your questions based on your motivation. So this is like how you navigate the interview. This is where most of the interview part is going to be in play. So again, hold back and make sure whatever you're mentioning here is relevant with your CV. So yeah, there is no specific example of a good motivation letter. Be very, very real on what you want to convey. Whatever it is, if it's a personal story that is connecting you to the work you want to do, mention it. If there's a personal incident that happened in your life, or a professional experience that you want to be, or a future goal for which you want to align, and if that is motivating you. So be very, very real in your motivation letter, because most of your questions will be getting through the motivation letter. And next comes how to draft an effective plan of action. So So this is a very, I would say this is the most important part of your resume, because of your whole application, because you can be selected or rejected based on this single factor. So if you want to, uh, if you want to be a part of an organization and you have a very good, I've seen and I have personally recruited people purely based on their plan of action. And I know it's difficult for first year students to have experience or to have such elaborate CVs to project in an organization like this, which is where your play your strengths, that is going to be your plan of action. And I'm going to be talking a little in detail about how a plan of action should be. So, um, first, as I said, you should do your background research on why this particular organization and why this particular council or why this particular state. And this is going to be a very key thing to draft a plan of action. Then hold back and look at what you would be contributing to the team. Already we have a structure. In the previous term, we have accomplished certain things. So once you look at this, start your plan of action by thinking what you can contribute to the organization. And based upon that particular skill, you can draft your plan of action. So yeah, and so as I said, this is going to be the most important part of your application. And this is a very unique place to show your problem solving ability. Let us say you identified a problem which comes into the domain of public health, and you have an approach for it. It's not like, you can simply say, I want to do a campaign on mental health. If you want to talk about mental health, which specific domain you want to focus upon? Are you trying to give a stress? Are you trying to do something like a stress buster session? Are you trying to address anxiousness? Are you trying to address like a psychiatric disorders like schizophrenia or bipolar disorder? Or are you just trying to focus on the wellness of it? And so these are certain ways. So be specific and figure out which part of mental health that you want to campaign for. And if it is coming into the domain of this council, so again, we had a situation where in Council of Rights and Peace, they have sent in, they've been extensively talking about applications that have been sent in for rights and peace, have extensively spoken about LGBTQ community. In SIMSA, in general, yes, it is a human rights issue, and this is an intercollaborating domain. But in SIMSA structure, this specific part is more taken by Council of Reproductive Health and Reproductive Sexual Health and Gender Education. So then your position, it might be more relevant for you to work in courage. So I could directly reject your application if it was there for rights and peace, just saying that, this person is more interested in courage. I think that's where the application should go in. So, which is why understand the intercorrelating areas, look at the work done by the organization. Please go through the Instagram, understand the activities that are done, and based upon which tell us how you can solve one real problem in the society. So, and that should again be in accordance with the council or a state that you have chosen. And do not waste space by mentioning obvious. So what are the obvious things that you mention in a plan of action? That is like, I'll be following, I'll do whatever the council chair tells me or the state director tells me, or I'll be following all the SIMSA rules. I'll follow all the gender, I'll be very polite, I'll be on time. These are expected things from you. If you do not have it, you will not sustain in the organization. These are obvious things. Do not waste the space in plan of action by talking about these things. I have specifically seen a couple of plan of actions that I've received, which had nothing but these. It talks about the obvious things, whatever the expectations that have been mentioned in the document, and these people have copy pasted the same thing in their plan of action and says that I will be doing this. This is expected of you from us. So this is obvious. That's what all the applicants are going to have in common. That is why they're applying for the council. So tell us what is the unique thing. Start by, again, what you bring to the table in that particular domain. So go with creative ways, think out of the box. So choose one real problem, go out of the box, haywire on how you want to solve it. Do some research and look into international organizations like WHO and or UNICEF and how they are doing this. how it is happening in a global situation, and how you want to regionalize a specific campaign and talk more about something like that, which gives us an insight into your capability. And again, your plan of action is going to be very important, because this gives an insight into your leadership skills and initiative taking skills, which can be a single factor, especially if you are a first year student who have just joined medicine, or a second year student who thinks you do not have a very good CV. This is your strength, and play your strength, and you can easily get into SIMSA. So again, I want to show you a specific plan of action that I was very much impressed with. This has been done by current chair of Council of Public Health, that is Snigdha Mishra. And she has chosen to display a stepwise approach. This is again one of several approaches that you can choose. So she has a 6-step plan on how she'll be leading the council. So she basically wants to set up an agenda for her term by talking to all her team. And then she's going to be planning all the events. Then she'll be coordinating with GBTO, and she mentioned some very, very specific details in here. And then she wants to she wants to focus on working with local councils, which is why if you look at the whole flow chart, this gains traction. It placed center in the middle, and this gains most important traction. So this shows that, this person is very much focused on working with local councils. Next comes working closely with PRC team and state directors on execution, so she have, by looking at this, I know that this person have a very keen understanding of SIMSA structure. So she knows right from starting, like how to plan an activity and how to execute it, then how she's going to dispense the activity into the members, and how she's going to make sure it's going to be working. She also talks about collaborating with other organizations, and how to make sure there's impact. So, and she's also trying to be inclusive for physically challenged communities in this application, which is a very unique point. And she chose to mention in a specific box. It is clean, clear, and very simple. Like any person who is going through this application is gonna feel that this person is very clear in what she wants to do. And this is a kind of plan of action. Again, don't be intimidated by the resume I have shown, or plan of action I'm showing here. These are from the leadership positions. So the Chetna's resume, what you have seen, she have applied for the chair of courage. This is again for the chair of public health. So if you're applying for a council member, your resume does not need to be in this vivid detail. But this kind of approach will obviously gain some traction into what you want to do. So again, I would like to say, if you want to be awesome, start by working with SIMSA. All the very best. This is our approach on how to be. And Bhajan, if you have any questions, you can share it to me in the Zoom.
No, Vishnu, we don't have any questions as of now.
Okay. So. All right, I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to check if, so give me a minute before I further update.
Sure.
So guys, I'm going to be handing over to Katyayani. She's going to talk a little about general assist positions. So over to you, Kat.
Thank you, Vishnu. Thank you for the platform. And through this platform, I'd like to reach out to everybody who is confused about the position of general assists, because I understand that this is the first time that we are having such a position in SIMSA. So the general assist in a manner is going to be facilitating the work of the GB office, which is the governing body office. We have two positions under the president, two under the vice president of capacity building, which is Vishnu himself, two positions under finances, so the vice president of finances, and one position each under the vice president of internal affairs and vice president of external affairs. I'd suggest that before you apply for these positions, go ahead and please check their plan of action, because in that manner you'll understand what you are looking forward to in the term, whether there'll be more of online working, offline working, whether you'll be working with international organizations, or if you'll be doing more of internal collaborations, or if you're under the president, then what is it that he is looking forward to in this term. You should be, with that being said, you should be well adept with Microsoft Office or Google Workspace, whichever is being used by that particular GB elect. For more details, you can always reach out to us. So I believe we will be sharing our details soon on the Instagram page. You can contact us personally or through Instagram if you like. We can send you the details of that particular GB elect member, and they will guide you further on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat, for conveying that very clearly. And so, guys, even in case, in the worst case scenario, you couldn't make it to the support teams, that is not end of SIMSA positions. We'll still have local officers, we'll have local committees, local committee heads. And also, in case you do not want to give a large time commitment, like a full term commitment that for the organization, you always have, and you have a very good idea that you want to take it into public and you want to use SIMSA resources, we always have SWG structure. All you have to do is write to us with your idea, and then we'll to the specific council chair and the vice chair, and they're going to help you build a small work group, and then you will be leading that project. You will be working until that project duration. So there are multiple positions in SIMSA, and there are multiple resources in SIMSA. For all the medical students, my request is please use these options, these facilities to improve yourself in every possible domain you want to. So I guess that's all about for today's session. And this is, as I said, this is going to be a video guide. Please go through if you're applying for the SIMSA position. This is going to give you a large insight into what you want to do and why you want to do this, and what's the best way to get into. So that's all from my side, and thank you.
Thank you, Vishnu.